In Chapter 9 of Northanger Abbey, we find that Catherine Morland has been surprised by her new friends the day after a night spent at the upper rooms. John Thorpe, the brother of Isabella Thorpe, makes good on his offer to take Catherine out for an open carriage ride. It's here that we learn that John is, indeed and in fact, an Oxford man.
But he's also not exactly Oxford material.
But to be sure, we are meant to understand that although Mr. Thorpe has the family's social standing to attend such a school, its implications do not carry over to a proper interactive quality with the ladies. Recall Catherine's opinion of him when she thought to herself, "I do not like him at all." Catherine's point of view is reinforced when John carries on in a boastful manner about himself, to which she finds that she cannot repress her doubtful feelings about him. And it's not only that she finds him off-putting, but that his behaviour towards her tends to frustrate her hopes for spending time with either Mr. Tilney or his sister, Miss Tilney. Chapter 9 is where we see the beginnings of Catherine's struggle to maintain control over the management of her time. Back in Chapter 7, John Thorpe had asked her if she enjoyed open carriage rides, and then he uses her answer of approval as a means to govern the way she will spend her day. Their surprise trip does not really hit home until she learns that she has missed an opportunity to speak with the Tilneys. Chapter 10 begins with Catherine and Isabella chatting at the theatre. Here it is suggested by Isabella that most assuredly there are at least two men who are interested in Catherine. The first is her brother John, and the other is Mr. Henry Tilney. Next morning, Catherine is delighted finally to engage Henry's sister, Miss Tilney, in conversation at the pump room. At the cotillion ball, she is further delighted to be dancing with Henry himself, though it does not happen without John Thorpe taking note. Henry and Catherine continue dancing and talking until the moment comes when Catherine is presented with a visual introduction to Henry's father, General Tilney. The moment is followed by a proposal from Miss Tilney that a country walk the very next day would be wonderful, provided that it doesn't rain. In this chapter, we see the start of our view of John Thorpe as the villain. Catherine Morland is meant to be enjoying her time at Bath, and yet we find that she is anxious about encountering him at the cotillion ball. Luckily for her, she is rescued by the gallant Mr. Tilney, though not without John feeling slighted. In our previous video, it was mentioned that Northanger Abbey explores an urban setting apart from the country. We find that it is Isabella Thorpe who drives the point home when she declares,
"Do you know, I get so immoderately sick of Bath."
Henry Tilney chimes in on the subject when he tells Catherine that she ought to be tired of Bath at the end of 6 weeks.
"I do not think I should be tired if I were to stay here 6 months."
But Mr. Tilney's opinion does not come until after he presents to her a deftly argued comparison between country dancing and marriage. Catherine disagrees with the sentiment, which serves as a moment to reflect on her blossoming skills as a critical thinker. Chapter 11 brings the rain, which is certain to disrupt Catherine's plans for a country walk with Miss Tilney. In fact, the walk comes to be disregarded in favour of another unexpected trip with her new friends, and to be sure, it is largely based on the promise for Catherine that she will be exploring the sites of an actual castle. This plan, however, is abandoned by her brother's suggestion that they have set off too late and thus they have travelled only to end up making a U-turn. Catherine's mind swirls with frustration when she learns that she has again missed the Tilneys. But it comes in addition to the fact that not only does she realise how much John Thorpe annoys her, but that he had potentially lied to her as well. In Chapter 11, Austen skillfully weaves allusions to the mysteries of Udolpho into her plot. Earlier, we found Catherine trying to avoid John Thorpe, and now the man is deliberately trying to control her by making up stories intended to mislead. The sense of villainy is accentuated when we find that Mr. Thorpe only laughed, smacked his whip, encouraged his horse, made odd noises and drove on. And Catherine, angry and vexed as she was, having no power of getting away, was obliged to give up the point and submit. In Chapter 12, we find Catherine Morland eager to explain herself to the Tilneys in light of all the mishaps and missed connections. She is unable to do so, and at the theatre that night, she suspects that matters have been entirely ruined on that end. Imagine her relief when Mr. Tilney finds her and sets all stories straight, with a welcome proposal that they try again for the country walk. Catherine speaks to John Thorpe, of all people, who has been conversing with Henry Tilney's father, the General. John Thorpe comes to inform her, much to her surprise, that the General is quite approving of her. Chapter 13 begins with a tense exchange between Catherine Morland and the Thorpe siblings. Isabella and John have scheduled another carriage ride, and it comes with demands that Catherine is to join them. This trip is to be much better planned, but Catherine is having none of it. She already has plans with the Tilneys, and she is determined this time not to fail them. In this moment and yet again, John Thorpe's credibility is called into question when we find that he has ran off and told the Tilneys that Catherine will not be available. In a fit of worry, Catherine races to the Tilney household, where she learns two important facts about John. The first is that it was all true, that he had indeed ran off and conveyed the message in person. And second, that his words about the General's admiration of Catherine had in fact been true as well. For the moment, Catherine does not dwell on the merits of John Thorpe, but rather she allows herself a moment to see that matters are not as bad as she had thought. But it does not end without her spending a moment with the Allens to talk about what has been happening. Chapter 13 is where we see Catherine experiencing some serious pressure. The theme is all about loyalty, and we find Catherine having to make decisions that will affect the nature of her relationships. Specifically, it is Isabella who resorts to emotional blackmail, claiming that Catherine's loyalties should be to her and the group. But Catherine challenges her guilt-tripping by viewing Isabella as being selfish. Do you think that Isabella has a right to treat Catherine this way? And how do you feel about Catherine's brother James, who has taken the position against her? Additionally, we find that although Catherine is exerting the necessary agency to govern her own destiny by asserting the fact that she has a previous engagement with the Tilneys, she seeks the advice of her elders for clarification on the validity of her judgments. How do you feel about this trait of Catherine's, that she is willing to confer with the Allens about her situation with Isabella and John Thorpe? Let us know in the comments. Booktime Learning is dedicated to the study of writing and literature. If this video has been useful, helpful, or enjoyable in any way, please consider clicking the like button and/or subscribing. And thank you for watching.